Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael, and as many of you know, I'm on a journey to push my net worth to be valued at over $1 million. Now, I haven't made a net worth update video on this channel in quite some time. I believe it was still 2024 when I made my last net worth update video. So today is going to be quite a update, quite a surprise, I think, to my net worth as I'm sitting here before me with a list of numbers. I have not put them into my spreadsheet yet, but I think we're going to see a lot of movement in terms of how my net worth has changed. And as we go through this, I'll kind of give some other life updates as well, because I think it's been about 3 weeks since I posted a video on this channel. So we have a lot of things to cover in today's video, so we're going to get right down to business. And before we do that, if you find enjoyment and entertainment and even motivation from watching someone track their net worth and pay off debt, which that's a spoiler alert for later. Um, if you find enjoyment from that, please like this video as it really helps push it out to the algorithm, as well as subscribe to the channel for future content just like this. All right, so as many of you know, in order to calculate your net worth, you have to be able to assess and look at your assets and liabilities. We are going to start with looking at my assets, and I apologize if you can hear cars going by. I'm in the office space now, which is in the attic, and it's 1,000 degrees up here, so I didn't want to sweat the whole video. So we're going to start looking at the assets, and we are first going to take a look at my house. Now, I've talked about in the past that I don't have a realtor or some assessor that comes out here to look at my house and give me a value. Instead, I use a website called Zillow. I know they probably are not the most accurate, but I've heard from several people that it does give you a pretty good ballpark of what your home could be worth. Maybe not exactly what you'll get from it, but what it's valued at. So, according to Zillow, my current home value is $183,900, which obviously you guys can see is quite a leap from back where it was in December when I checked it um, back in December of 2024. So, we're already seeing some growth there. All right, moving on now to the first big update that I have to give on this channel, and that is the car. Because normally I would just put the amount here for my vehicle, which you can see has kind of dwindled down over the years because that's what cars do. However, as of 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, my wife and I purchased a brand new 2025 Hyundai Elantra Sport for her because her vehicle needed to go, and we have a new vehicle now. So that's going to obviously play a little bit of a portion later when we get to the liabilities. But for right now, we're going to put in the value, and I'm not going to put the total price that we paid for it because if you know anything about buying a new vehicle, you're not if you were to turn around and try to sell it, you would not get the exact thing that you just paid for it. So I'm going to go like 1,000 or 2,000 short. So I'm going to say $22,000. I did try to use the Kelly Blue Book feature to do this, and so I don't know if I really trust the number. Big truck going by right there. So I don't know if I really trust this feature, but I know I wouldn't be able to get. I think it was like 23,000. Um, it was either 22 or 23,000. So I know I wouldn't be able to get the full price of that. So that's why I'm undershooting it a little bit. So we'll talk a little bit more about the car in a second because although I did put a big dent in that price tag, I did not fully pay it off. So we'll get to that in a second. Try to close a window here. All right, moving on now to savings and cash. Now, this has taken a little bit of a dive because I did have to use my savings and cash to pay for this vehicle, as that's how things work in life. So my savings and cash now is $12,936.70. Sorry. Yep, I put that in right. And to be honest with you, actually, I'm going to adjust that number on the fly to 13,000. Oh, I can't do math in my head. $436.70. That should be right. I added $500 because we were able to get $500 for my wife's vehicle. So, gonna put that in there. and that number should jump up by $4,000 once my side hustle slash per diem work paycheck comes in the mail. That should be coming in within the next week or so. So we'll see an increase there, which is always good to have my savings of cash get bolstered back up even after making a large purchase like a vehicle. All right, let's move on to the really fun stuff here. This is my 3 investment accounts: 401k, Roth IRA, and my individual regular taxable brokerage account. So, starting off with my 401k, this has grown to $45,900.82. So, awesome growth there, to be expected with a 401k. It's kind of one of those set it, forget it type things. As long as it's not charging a bunch of interest and fees, should be good there. Your screen may have just improved quality. Nothing's wrong with your camera or your computer or your phone. It's because I forgot to fix how big the font size was on Google Sheets. Anyway, moving on now to my Roth IRA. This has also increased, not by as much, but it has increased to $14,186.95. If I can read my writing correct, that'd be awesome. And finishing out with my regular individual taxable brokerage account. Normally this would be 0 because I lost track of it. I couldn't access it, but I've gained access back to this account, and I'm now able to look at it, and it's sitting at $2,236.04. I know that's not a huge number. It's obviously $2,200 more than what I normally put in there, but I haven't really tried to contribute to this account yet, so I got to do that. Let's figure out how to make this, add everything up. And you guys can see quite a large jump in the asset column, going from back in December when I last checked this, $251,550 to now $281,660. Big jump there. There should be a jump because, several months have happened. So if I'm doing things correctly and nothing tragic has happened, we should see an increase in the assets. Obviously, the house jump, the car jump, and also my 401k have really helped contribute to that increase in the asset column. But let's go ahead now and take a look at liabilities, because we do need to put in some new numbers in terms of, I don't know what's wrong with this. We need to put in, so we do need to put in some new numbers in terms of debt, because normally I would just put $0 for Sally Mae. That was back when I was paying off my student loans, and obviously still $0 for my federal loan. Those are done away with. We don't have to worry about student loans anymore, but we do have a new loan in here for, I'm going to round it up because it's just a little bit under this, $15,000. It's actually a little bit interesting because when the guy at the dealership showed me what the car, like after I put my payment down and how much was left over, it actually said like $13,000. But since then, which it's only been like a week and a half, since then the interest has probably already kicked in and jumped it up to almost $15,000. So that is going to be the new target for my debt. Now, obviously, I have a mortgage debt, which I'll talk about in just a second. But one of the things, in addition to contributing to my Roth IRA and improving my savings fund and different things I'm trying to save for, getting rid of this car loan is the next number one priority for me. I don't know. I haven't been able to find what percentage of interest this is yet, which I apologize because I know that'd be fun to tell you guys. However, this is a big ticket item for me of wanting to remove it as quickly as I can. A car depletes in value. So it's not just like your student loans, which you're getting some value for if you have a degree where you can go get a job like I did. Getting some value for that debt I accrued. With a car loan, you're not getting that. It's depleting rapidly, especially when you live in upstate New York with all the junk that gets put on the road. So getting rid of that $15,000 is my next high priority. We're obviously going to be putting the amount of money that we got for getting rid of her older vehicle to that. as well as adding to the monthly payment. I think the monthly payment's $260, where we're at with the payoff period and interest rate. So I definitely want to put more than $260 towards it every single month to get rid of that as fast as I can. That's what I did with my last Hyundai Elantra, and I was able to pay it off in, I think, less than 2 years. So that's the goal. All right, moving on to the last item on the liability column before we can add everything up, and that is talking about my mortgage. Now, as many of you know, I've had issues with calculating my mortgage in the past. I can either go by one of two things. I can go by what it says online, which is usually a lower amount, or I can go by what the paper handout my bank gives me on the 18th of every month. In my timeline right now, the 18th of June has not come, and if I were to use May's, it would be incorrect because it would not calculate June's payment to it. So, towards it. So, what I'm going to do, this isn't the most accurate way to do things. I've kind of noticed that the online amount compared to the paper amount that gets mailed out on the 18th is about $1,000 off, which is weird. I think that's because my payment is about $1,058 a month. So I think the online number is like the more up-to-date number, whereas the one I get in the mail is like almost a month behind. So I'm going to kind of blend the two. I know that's not the most accurate thing, and say that my current mortgage is this number I'm putting up on the screen. I can't talk and type and think at the same time, I guess. So there. I know my mortgage goes down by about $250 a month, $250 to $350 a month. So using that should wind up about there. Once again, it's not the most accurate way. The most accurate way would just be to use the same bit of information every time, but sometimes I miss those bank statements, and if I miss them, I have to wait a whole month. I don't want to put off making a video for a whole nother month, so that's why I'm using this method. All right, we need to add up how much my liabilities are. Let's do that right now. And for the first time in a while, my liabilities have gone up. And that's because of the vehicle debt that I now have, $15,000 extra to pay off. But I'm not really worried about that. I'm not taking it lightly by any means, but I'm not worried to the point. I mean, I've paid off much higher amounts of debt, and because I've done that, because I've been disciplined with myself, and I know the strategies to do it, I know the way to get out of it quickly. I'm not worried about $15,000 in debt. We're gonna get rid of that pretty quick. That's the goal. I have a system set up to do that already with my debt payoff strategy. So I'll be hopefully making more videos sharing how much I'm able to contribute towards that debt payoff every single week, because I would like to do it kind of on a weekly basis and not just on a monthly basis like most payments are. Anyway, let's now do the last bit here. Click, click, click. So Google Sheets had actually already put in how much my net worth was for June of 2025 because whoever the genius was that set up this spreadsheet set it up so that the formulas actually work. I wonder who did that. It was me. Anyway, what we're going to be doing now to make this not anticlimactic is I'm going to push Control Z, which will then remove the amount that I just deleted, which is my net worth for June 2025. So drum roll, please. If you're home right now, you better be doing a drum roll in your room, in your car, wherever you're watching this video. And my net worth for June 2025 is $144,222.54. So this is actually really cool to see that despite increasing my debt amount by $15,000, I still have trended positively in my net worth. I've increased my net worth by just under $20,000, and I'm happy with that. So the fact that I'm able to purchase a vehicle and still be positive on my net worth and still have a good strategy for paying off that vehicle debt, and also being able to put down a large sum towards that vehicle already, shows that like these things I talk about on this channel of the small practical steps I take every single week, every month to improving my net worth and also saving for future expenses and putting aside money for investing, all this stuff actually works because the net worth is going up. My debt amount, yes, it did go up as well, but I have already the tools in my toolbox financially to start tackling that and have it gone with as soon as possible. So I feel pretty confident, and I'm happy with this kind of mid 2025 net worth. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. I know I can't put out a net worth video every single month like a lot of other YouTubers do who are in this financial space here on YouTube. Life's kind of busy, and I have a lot of other hobbies. I've shared with you guys some of them. You can probably, I don't know if you can even see in the background, I have guitars laying on the ground here. I am currently in the process of making another one. So there's a lot of things that take up my time. And uh, yeah, but thank you guys so much for sticking around, watching this net worth video with me, for cheering me on. I know I haven't posted a video in a while, so you guys haven't got a chance to comment down below. Well, if you wouldn't mind, please comment down below and share how your financial journey is going this mid 2025 here in June. What it's like for you. Have you made any large purchases this year? Have you regretted any purchases you've made this year? I know I've made some smaller ones that I definitely have. So be sure to, if you feel comfortable, write down in the comment section below how your financial journey is going this 2025. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.